that is a tricky subject from the get-go. That triggers a whole lot of negative emotions. And it's really about, your preparation is key, and you really do need to prepare for any topic, any discussion around racism, because with it comes a lot of trauma on both sides. And oftentimes that trauma is suppressed, unknown, and we have developed coping mechanisms over the years of how we respond to it. So some would avoid, some want to be heard, but what they really want is the validation. So we have these two individuals on two different ends of the spectrums. Their behaviors are opposite. And so very difficult. That's why we're still here on this topic. But in my book, I take an approach that is not about naming or blaming or shaming anybody, because right off the bat, it does trigger those things, because no one wants to be blamed or shamed or be labeled a racist or a victim. So we try to just stay away from it. And in the book, my approach is to identify what are those keywords that we get stuck on. What is the misunderstanding around this topic to have a conversation? Why are we so afraid? And with all the trauma around it, we're stuck. That's what it really feels like. And so I try to unpack my story and my encounters with racism within the public service. And again, not with the intention to name anybody, but just to identify a problem, to identify the elephant in the room, so we can actually talk about it. So in doing so, the 21 lessons that I learned and applied, I really flipped the switch of my own experience of being a victim. So what led me to sort of the stories I share in my book occurred primarily within the past 6 years. It talks about the microaggressions and how they impacted me, because we don't realize the impact of how that little gesture that you have done to me that you're unaware of, how that has impacted me, and for years, how it has impacted my family and those around me. So with that, I share my journey from when I was demoted after being promoted. In my defeat, I applied to law school. I was accepted. The past 6 years I spent still working with the public service, obtaining my law degree, and I flipped the switch during those 6 years because I wanted to become a part of the solution. So when you're talking on a topic like racism, you can't sit on the outside. You got to go on the inside. So on the inside, I meant for me to just sit here and just be a victim, or just sit here and feel like I'm not getting what I'm asking for and I'm not being heard, I decided to become part of the solution. So I joined the committees, I took on leadership roles. It was really empowering, because now I had a voice at the table. I wanted to be a part of those decisions that were being made. So in getting comfortable, I think that's what helped me to become more comfortable. So when the issue of when George Floyd came up, and when we had to have those conversations on race, I already had some preparation of being at that table, of having conversations on other topics besides racism, that kind of segued and made it build my confidence, so that when the racism topic came up, I was ready for it. So it's not something you just walk into. We do have some preparation work to do, and it starts with that internal work that has to take place, and that's really where my book covers that. I hope it answers the question.